All right, Chaverim Yikarim. Chaverim Yikarim, let's learn. The month of Tevis is sponsored by the Aaron family, Leilinish Maslevi Ben Yosef, by the Dear Silver family in memory of Bas Yafega Bas Yisrael. The week is sponsored by the beers in memory of Shifra Rivka Bas Rav Elchanan Yitzchak, anonymously for the Refuah Shleima of Hila Bat Ilana Aliza Chana Bat Naomi, and by Miriam and Avram Deutsch for the Refuah of Halel Tiferet Bat Chaya Ilana. Today, Wednesday, Yud Aleph Tevis, is sponsored by someone that's like family to me, by Miriam Futterman, in honor and blessed memory of her husband Nachman Yerachmiel ben Yehuda Leib Begolda. Nachman Futterman on his fourth yahrzeit. I want to tell you a little bit about this person. Not that anything I could say would ever come close. Nachman, whose fourth yahrzeit is today, one of the closest people in my life. He was one of the closest people in my heart. Nachman had a jazz to him. He had this inner jazz. He had this inner groove. Nachman physically was way older than me. He's probably about close to 40 years older than me. Maybe even more, around 40 years older than me. And yet, in his presence, I felt that I was old. Because his youth, his inner child, his youth, was something that was so, it drew me so much. Some of you knew him, a few of you knew him. A few of you knew Nachman. Nachman was very, very close to Rav Shlomo. Nachman was very, very close to Breslov, to BRI, Reb Chaim Kramer, the early days, before it was cool to be part of these things. Nachman was one of the big supporters of Reb Chaim Kramer. And he was the president of the Carlebach show in New York. I could go on, but you should just know that all these Torahs that we're learning also from Reb Shlomo, Nachman has a big chelik in the fact that they're out there in the world. And today, whenever I think of him, I only see him smiling. And today's his yahrzeit, so it's a schus that his precious wife, our soul sister Miriam, dedicated the shiur in his memory. And Be'ezer Hashem tehen nishmas tzura b'tzora chaim. So here, I'm going to give these out. It's one page back and forth. It's hard to tell because it doesn't really start in the beginning of something. We're starting in the middle of something, but you'll figure it out. I'll show you where it is. Okay, so in Even Shlomo, Vayechi, for those that have the Sefer, it is on page, let's see, it says 339 there? On one of the sides. 339, so let's see if it's that one or the page or the other side. Other side, so the word says 339, turn it over. Okay, chevra, let's learn, but let's learn very deep. It's a short Torah. However, it encompasses so much. This is in the middle of a bunch of teachings we have over here of what was Yaakov Avinu doing. What was Yaakov Avinu doing that moment that he wanted to be what's called legalos es haketz, to reveal the end of times. This teaching over here is another example of how Reb Shlomo learned all the Torahs of all the Rebbes, squeezed it, and the juice that came out is what you have in front of you. We should all live long. We should all live, Be'ezer Hashem, in good health. And obviously, the end is undeniable. What happens at the end? Can you imagine for a second, can you visualize what you'd want to give over to your children and grandchildren the second before you took off? And we should all live long. Actually, you saw chevra, Eitan Yammer invited everyone to a death cafe. Did you see this on the Pitum Shtim? I actually looked into it. I just can't make it at that time. It's a pretty, some would say dark Indian. I don't see it like that. I see it as actually something that could be very, very healing for certain people. And I'm going to look into it even more. I just can't make it the time that they have it. But that moment where this is it. the Piasetzin in Bnei Machshava Tova leads us through that insane visualization about walking, about your kids walking your body to the grave, and you're screaming there, wishing you could tell them certain things. There's nothing you can do. Remember that visualization, anybody? That one really stuck with us. That freaked the daylights out of us. That woke us up like more than any other piece we did over there. Here, what we're saying is, no. You still have something to do. It's before you took off. It's before you took off. What would you want to tell your children? What would you want to tell your kinderlach? So this is where we meet Yaakov Avinu in the Parsha. Yaakov Avinu is over here, finally, the chevra together, and it's a moment of, okay, let's haSfu, gather together. Interesting how the Ishbitzer translates, based on the Midrash, haSfu is for Lashon hitaharu, purify yourselves, haSfu, ve'agida lachem es asher yikra eschem ba'achris hayamim. The way the pshat is learned is the Yaakov Avinu was about to tell them everything that's going to happen to them till the end of days, and how the end of days is going to happen, and the whole description of how Mashiach is going to come, and v'chulei. All the things that we are chalishing to know and would love to know. And if Yaakov Avinu has the ability to share that with his children, of course he's going to share that with his children. He's going to say everything. He's going to share everything with them. So now, Rav Shlomo takes us to a place of what was kiviyachol transpiring in Yaakov Avinu when the moment of Nistalka mimenu haShechinah. When he was about to do that, but the Shechinah that was present and able to reveal all this, when it was mistalik from them. But again, I just want to reiterate, we should all be blessed with arichus yamim. Like, it should all be, and I can see, this piece Adafka wanted to choose because I could see the person that we're dedicating the shiur for Nachman Futterman. I could see his smile, mamish, his smile and his tear through this teaching. It's a very, very profound thing. Pesach had the schus of being very, very close to him as well. And Miriam dedicated the shiur for Nach this morning. Okay, so look inside. B'parasha shelanu, you see where we are, Chevra? It's 2 pages, but the side that doesn't have the number. בפרשה שלנו, יעקב אבינו יודע שהוא עומד לעזוב את העולם. Yaakov knows he's about to die. ולכן קורא לילדיו ומבקש לגלוס להם מתי תהיה הגאולה. He's calling out to his children and he wants to reveal to them when Geula will happen. כולנו מתפללים לחיות חיים ארוכים, we're all davening to have length of days, long days. אבל דמיינו את היום שבו יגיע זמננו להיפרד מילדינו. But imagine the day that it comes that we have to say goodbye to our kinderlach. It's a very emotional thing, It's a very, very emotional thing. I don't know if it's striking a chord for anybody else, but it's a very, very deep thing. Imagine, he says, imagine the day that you have to say goodbye to your children. Now imagine that at that moment, נוכל לראות את כל מה שהם וצאצאיהם עתידים לעבור בחייהם עד ביאת המשיח. And imagine at that moment that you're about to say goodbye to your Abba. Your Abba's about to say goodbye to you. That they also, the father, was able to know and see everything that his children, his offspring would have to go through till Mashiach comes. You'd want to start talking for forever. You'd want to share everything. You'd want to say everything in the world. What would you hold back at that moment? What would you hold back? And of course, now that's mitzad hanosen. What mitzad mashpia and mitzad makabel. Imagine you're sitting there as a makabel, and you see, something's going on. He's about to download it all. You're sitting there like this, and you're just saying, "Are you kidding me?" More every word. So the sons see something in their Abba, and then they see something switch in their Abba. They see that they're about to receive every piece of vital information that, so to speak, they would need to know in order to make it till Mashiach comes. And then they see that that's also removed from their Abba. So also mitzad the Mekablim, it's very strange. Zo hayta madregat, third paragraph, Zo hayta madregat Yaakov Avinu lifnei sheistalek ma'olam. This is where Yaakov Avinu is holding before he died. היו לו 12 בנים קדושים שעברו כל כך הרבה בחייהם, 12 kinderlach, 12 sons, have gone through so much in their life, והנה הם סוף סוף ביחד. And they're finally all together. זה היה פלא גמור, total wonderment. עד שיבוא משיח, until Mashiach comes, לא יימצאו בעולם 12 יהודים מאוחדים כל כך, כמו 12 האחים באותה שעה. Understand. How big was Am Yisrael back then? They were basically the representatives of all of Am Yisrael, were all in that room. And there was utter oneness. There was achdus, there was total unity, love, finally trust and harmony with the Shvatim, with the representatives of Am Yisrael. And Rav Shlomo says there'll never be such great achdus like there was in that room in that moment. Now he says, הגמרא אומרת דבר שאנחנו לא היינו מעיזים לומר. The Gemara says something we would never dare say. היא אומרת, it says in Baba Metzia, and it's brought down in Bereshis Rabbah in the Midrash, שיעקב אבינו הוא המובחר, היה המובחר שבאבos. You know what muvchar means?
Choices.
Yeah, not chosen, but preferred. Like of the highest, if you have to look at a few numbers, the highest rank amongst the numbers that he was included in, which was Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. The Gemara says, Yaakov Avinu, so to speak, is higher. There's reasons for this. Mitaso Shlema, there's a lot of different reasons for this. Also, I think it says in the Medrash that Shufraya, Yaakov Avinu, me'ein Shufraya shel Adam HaRishon. He also looked like Adam HaRishon. He had something about him, and obviously he's Yisrael, right? So he has something, there's something going on by Yaakov Avinu that's muvchar sheba'avos.
Also, is it Rav Shlomo who talks about him being on the, was it Rav Shlomo who talks about him being on the shoulders of his father and grandfather?
I mean, could be, but maybe the Rav Shlomo said it, but it makes total sense that he's standing on top of chesed, on top of gvura, and he's carrying both of those midos together. Right. Yeah, absolutely. So Yaakov Avinu היה מובחר שבאבos, יותר גבוה אפילו מאברהם ויצחק, בחינת אדם הראשון קודם החטא. So Yaakov Avinu is on the level of Adam HaRishon before he even sinned. קודם החטא. The pristine, clear purity of who we're dealing with. Yaakov Avinu haysa nevuah berura, behira. Yaakov Avinu had clear prophecy. There was no, it wasn't like Yaakov Avinu was being like, I still got to do tshuva to figure out how to cleanse that and cleanse that and then get clarity about this. No, Yaakov Avinu is in a state of nevuah behira. Bahira, clear prophecy. All of the future was clear to him. This is what he wanted to reveal to his children. He wanted to give over the clarity like that was clear to him. Like it was clear to him. I've seen this a few times where parents try to get their children into the family business. Parents that, a father that he was really good at what he was doing. And then they want to give it over to the child, and the child's struggling with it. He doesn't get it. It's not working for him. Sometimes I see the opposite. I see a family business that the kid's looking at the father, and he's like, out of my covered view, I won't tell you anything, but I could do this so much better. This happens to me sometimes when Nachman comes and sits in shul next to me, and he looks at me, and sometimes I feel like he's looking at me with those eyes of like, Ava. Come on. Oh, your mom is, you smell the busha, you know?
I think it comes out most when he's duching.
Yeah, it could be. But Yaakov Avinu has a family business. It's called Nitzchius Am Yisrael. Netzach Yisrael. Nitzchius Am Yisrael. What a combination. I was going to tell them, I was about to play a chuppah one time. I get 3 calls, one after the other from Chicago. I was like, okay, this must be an emergency. Aryeh Polstein. How many years ago? 3.5 years ago.
Name his kid.
And he wanted to name his son. What's his full name?
Netzach Yisrael.
He was told he shouldn't. He says, what do you think? It's like, what do I think? I think that's the highest, most heilige name in the world. Netzach Yisrael. Netzach. Yaakov Avinu is holding by Netzach Yisrael. He wants to give over Netzach Yisrael to what Nitzchius Am Yisrael is all about. And if you have the clear prophecy of everything you're ever going to have to go through, you're going to help Am Yisrael stay in the level of Netzach. Of Netzach. Not just victorious, eternity. Eternal. And not just Netzach being eternal and victorious. Netzach milashon menatzeach, to be a conductor. That the way you're acting in the world, you're going to conduct the world. The way people are going to be treating each other in Pakistan and in Zimbabwe is going to be vibrations coming out of the nitzchius of Am Yisrael. Netzach Yisrael. It's everywhere in the whole world. We'll try to start from here. But that's the goal, that's the dream, right? Aval az kara lo mashu. Az kara mashu, but then something happened, as Rashi tells us. Bikesh legalos es haketz v'nistalka meno shechina. He's about to give this all over. Everything we just said, this behirus, these instructions, the manual, the guide, the strength, the passion, everything, and then that's removed. So let me ask you something. Because we're in the world that we're in right now, what would you say right now was taking place in Yaakov Avinu's mind about about like his own yearning with himself? What did he start thinking about himself when that was removed?
I'm nothing, mimenu.
Or what else?
I'm getting old.
I'm getting old. What else?
Well, he had this Ruach he had, and then he lost it when Yosef was in Mitzrayim. He just got it back, and it's gone again.
What do you think he thought about himself?
He did something wrong.
Didn't raise his kids right.
Didn't raise his kids right. What else? Maybe, self-doubt could be a big thing. Maybe all those things I was certain of, it's not so, I shouldn't have been so certain about this. Yes.
When he didn't have the merit
Rob.
the same way he didn't think he had the merit beforehand, he didn't have the merit.
He lost the merit. Something happened. What happened? You name it. You could come up with a bunch of different stories, and biblical critics have a field trip with this kind of garbage. But you know what I mean. You could start to think for a second. Nistalka min haShechinah. Maybe I needed to feel I was as special as I was to make it through this world, but this level of special, to give it over to them, as clear as it was to me, that's already something else. Go to the kever with anava. Go to the kever with humility. Go to the kever with like a sense of being like, yes, I experienced the greatest things in the world. I was mamid shnemas hashvatim. I built the house of Israel. Aval, maybe that can get to a person, and maybe he's getting a message from the Eibishter. Lower it down, simmer it down a little bit. Choliot. You come up with a million conclusions. Yeah, what did he want to say?
Well, isn't as we understand, the reason that he wanted to tell them was because he saw they were going to be sent into Galut, and it was almost like a way of comforting them, right? By revealing to them when the ultimate Gula would come. That could be he realized they don't need that from me. They have it within themselves.
You're giving a drush. We're still stuck in the possibilities of what we, like when it happens to us, when something's so clear to us, we're like, oh, I can't wait to give. Ever happened to you? Let's dogri, okay? Like totally honestly. Did you ever? Many of the chevra here have prepared shiurim before, and this is a lot of the machon guys that are here. This is a big limud for yourselves for the future. I still work with this all the time. You ever prepare something? You know it. As you say in proper English, klar. You know klar. Naftali, what's klar? You grew up with klar, right?
Clear.
In the yeshiva. Clear. Klar. You know what klar? You get up to the amud, you go up to the shiur, whatever it is, and you're like, what's going on over here? What's that? That which I knew clearly is not coming out now. What would start to happen to you in your mind about yourself? I'm not worthy, I have to work on my skills, this isn't for me, change careers, all the different sfeikas that can come into you. Yaakov Avinu goes into a different zone. He goes into a zone that's even deeper than nevuah, that's deeper than prophecy. What could be deeper than prophecy? Look at this. This is the whole Torah, look at this. Ulai yesh kan remez amok, maybe there's a deep siman here, there's a deep hint here. Ve'ulai lo, now I love that, I kept that in b'chavana. No other Rav would write in his sefer, Ulai yesh kan mashu amok, ulai lo, right? maybe there's something deep here, but maybe there isn't. But that just shows to me the height of anava in the Torah, you know?
It's just the best sales things to do. Like, maybe this is a good product for you, or maybe not. All of a sudden we're like, I'm listening.
Right. Totally. He got our ear. If he didn't have our ear until now, it's like, oh, what may you be wrong about? You know? אם אני יודע כמו נביא את כל מה שעתיד לקרות לביתי הקטנה, if I know what everything that's going to happen to my child, like a prophet, and I know it clearly, זה גורם לי להיות קרוב אליה, don't kid yourself, it does make me feel closer to her, to my baby girl, אבל כשאני לא יודע מה עתיד לקרות לה, but when I'm not clear what's exactly going to happen to her, אני כולי מצפה ומייחל שיקרה לה כל דבר טוב וקדוש. The all of me is davening, is longing, is in a state of kisufim, that every single good and holy thing should happen to her. זה הרבה יותר עמוק. That's much deeper. זה לא מדרגה של נבואה, it's not the level of prophecy, אלא מדרגה של kisufim. This is very much connected to what we were saying Rav Biederman the last few Fridays. This is greater. Nistalka mimenu haShechinah. Hashem was teaching Yaakov Avinu the last Torah of his life, which means that what's greater than clarity and that you know everything is that the problem with it is that what does it maybe prevent you from tuning into? Davening. If it's all clear to you, if everything's crystal clear to you, then why do I have to daven for it? This is what's going to happen. It's nevuah. It is what it is.
Or hope.
You stop hoping. What hope do you need?
It's counterintuitive.
It could be counterintuitive.
To hope for it.
So all the things that basically generally Chassidus teaches us make us who we are. Our das takes us to a certain level, but without the davening over the das, that's why Rabbeinu HaKadosh Reb Nachman ben Feges Chus Yagin Aleinu made us rush to take the das that we have and put it into a tefillah. It's exactly for this. It's the formation of the pasuk V'yadata hayom v'hashevasa elevavecha. That's the formation of it. If it's just clear nevuah, let's say over here level of das, then do I need to go into hashevasa elevavecha? No, because what I see will happen. It will happen. It will happen. But what he's saying over here is that the Ribono Shel Olam is teaching Yaakov Avinu, who at that moment is then teaching to his children, who of course are all Nevi'im and going to be Nevi'im, and the Nevi'im, the Bnei Nevi'im, all their children, their kinderlach, and their offsprings, they're all going to come from Yaakov Avinu, all these prophets, all these worlds of prophecy. Of course that's what's going to happen. And he's trying to give over to his kinderlach the deepest lesson in the world. Yes, we're Yidden, we're intuitive, we have some kind of level of prophecy that it's almost impossible to explain to the world. But don't you dare think that it stops there. Sometimes that could actually be a blockage. If you, as you see, if you want like a shtickle Purim energy, now, right? If you want like a shtickle Purim energy even right now, so what you should do is turn on the news for 3 minutes on any of the Israeli TV stations, right? There's a bunch of people sitting around, right? And they're saying with such clear nevuah, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Now, let's say that one person's right, okay? So the other chevra good Purim. But the real good Purim is for the one that's saying that what's going to happen, and he's right. Because then you want to run up to him and saying to him, and what are you going to do about it? What does that make you do? What does that make you feel? We've read all the analytics. We know exactly what's going to be. Let's say, Kivyochel. Can you imagine right now if we knew exactly how the next few months are going to unfold in this country? We know it clearly. We've read all the signs. We've done our homework. We've taken the top specialists, the mumchim, in all these areas, right? And then what? And then you sit back and relax and just say, hey, this is what's going to be. I'm so happy that I figured out what's going to be. Yeah, do any of your predictions involve like world peace and Be'ezrat Hashem, all of the oivim putting down their guns and begging to do tshuva? No. So what doesn't get you? How could all your predictions not get you to daven? So therefore, in the world of emes, clarity is removed in order to get you to be a yid that knows how to lichsof. Now, with our children, it's the most precious things. I don't even have to look around the room from the little bit that I've been blessed to know about some of the stuff that you have with your kinderlach. Who wouldn't want to know exactly how things will pan out for our children? All of us would want to know. And then think like, based on what we know will happen to them, I'll give them the best eitzas. And you can even give good eitzas without davening, you know that. Eitzas can come just from the road of das. This removal of clarity, this moment, this epic moment before Yaakov Avinu dies, set the stage for how Yiddishkeit unfolds and how Yiddish homes, how Jewish homes unfold, and what should be in there and what shouldn't be in there. And that's why Rav Shlomo says that it's much deeper to actually not know exactly what's going to happen to your child, even deeper than prophecy, because prophecy doesn't get you to daven. Unclarity gets you to daven. And that's what he's experiencing over there. Ha'im kshakol, let's end with this. Ha'im kshakol barur li zachitov. When I have utmost clarity, is that the best? Lefamim. לפעמים, ולפעמים דווקא כשאין באפשרותי לראות בבירור, זה הרבה יותר עמוק. And sometimes דווקא when I don't have the ability to clearly see what's going to be, it actually hits and it strikes much, much deeper. אנחנו הכי קרובים לזה בלילה. Obviously we tune into this much more at night. בשעה שחשוך, at the time where it's dark, ולא רואים בבירור זה את זה, we can't clearly see each other. וזה בחינס וכל עין לך תצפה. This is the level of seeing that's called וכל עין לך תצפה. That every eye will actually be actively doing something. What are eyes going to actually be doing? ציפוי. What does ציפוי mean? Anticipate, בדיוק. המדרגה הזו של ציפייה היא עומק העומקים. By the way, I once said a Torah like this, and I may be wrong. I just wanted to see if it works again. I said, I may be wrong, then faces turned. I may be wrong. But I thought that maybe this is pshat, that when it says that Eliezer met Rivka, how old was Rivka? 3. But it says that when he met her, when he describes meeting her to Lavan, he uses the word that I came today to the eye. Vavo hayom el ha'ayin. There's a lot of Torahs on this. So I think it's like this, is that somehow Eliezer, Eved Avram Anoichi. Eliezer was holding with the Torah of Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu was a longer, a chashkan, and a metzape. So he learned from Avram Avinu how to know like where people are holding by looking at their eyes and to be able to say, are these eyes of longing for that which isn't clear yet in the world? Or it's just eyes that are you using your eyes just to see what's in front of you on the level of clarity. So here I want to say, Rivka, yes, I'll pee the medrash that how old was she? 3. Not 3 like back then they say when you're 3 you were really like 30. No, I want to say 3. 3. Eyes of a 3-year-old. Think of your 3-year-olds or your cousin's 3-year-olds or your grandchildren 3-year-olds. And then you have the ability to look in their eyes and say certain eyes have this ability of v'chol ayin lecha tetzape, that even if they know everything that's clear to them in the world, even if everything is planned out for them, and their parents set them up, and they go to Ivy League schools, everything's set up for them, and they don't have to worry about a thing. But what do they want? These kinderlach know that what's deeper than having everything set up for me and clear for me is v'chol ayin lecha tetzape, that I am someone that needs to long in order to feel alive. I'm someone that needs to anticipate, to look forward to daven, to pray, to be broken over in order to long for something bigger, in order to feel alive. And maybe you could say that that's what Eliezer saw in Rivka, and he knew right away, this is the mama of Am Yisrael. This is the mama of Yaakov Avinu has to come from Rivka. Yaakov Avinu has to be born to a woman like this. She has this, she's born with it somehow. And he ends off here and he's saying, "V'zeh ma she'inchil Yaakov Avinu l'chol Yehudi ad bias HaMashiach." This is something that Yaakov Avinu gave over to each Yid until Mashiach comes. What did he give over to us?
When it comes to Mashiach,
It's not knowing when it's going to come. It's the actual yearning itself that is the tasking.
And even if someone tells you exactly when it's going to be and how it's going to be, which many, by the way, I mean, there are many stories of people that have, very holy people. There's all these stories that have come out. You know, they came to the Shlomo Rebbe once, and it was like 25 years ago, and they came to the Shlomo Rebbe, and they said, you know, this tzaddik says it's happening here, and this one said it's mamish happening here. They had all these simanim based on this. That's why, just so you should know, whenever these we have like, it's so funny to say this, whenever we have mini wars, which is a davar miskabel over here, right? Whenever we have these like mini wars going on, and then someone pulls a midrash that says, oh, that tzaddik said that when Russia does this to I don't know, to Paras, or when Egypt then comes up and shows his face, that's a simon. Mazel tov. I'm sure that's also true, but that's not as deep as what happens to me at that moment when I feel tzara and I want to daven for Geula. It doesn't come close to it. It doesn't come close to it. This is what he's saying. What did Yaakov Avinu leave over for your kinderlach? For us, that even when you have all the das in the world, just remember something. You could have nevuah, behira, ubrura. Clear prophecy that doesn't come close to what happens to you when something's not clear and you want to daven over it. You're much closer to your children, and you're much closer to anything that's important if something gets you to cry over it and daven over it, as opposed to knowing exactly what's going to be. So let's go back to the beginning now. Yaakov Avinu wants to megala the kates. He wants to megala the end of times. Did he?
In a way, yes.
100%. On the level of? On the level of i-behirut. On the level of avodah. On the level of unclarity that brings to avodah. Yes. That's the gilui. That's the revelation. Some of the tzaddikim say the truth is Yaakov Avinu was megala the kids by the first word he said to them. Right? What was the first word he said to them? The Slonimer says this. Hey, osful. Meaning that was the whole chap, right? The Seder. But now this takes it to a place of, I think, where most of us are holding. I don't know, most of us. I'm definitely holding there. Where there's nothing barur, there's nothing bahir, there's nothing clear. Like Naftali and I always talk about this, like, anachnu chayim po al nisim. Like we're living on miracles here. It's so beyond insane how anything here is functioning, and the people that are running and how they're running the country. If you knew a little bit of the inside, it's pashut lo yuman. Lo yuman.
Teaching is the emphasis on the present.
Nachon.
Past is history,
Nachon.
future is mystery. All we have is.
So what do you have
right
now?
But that is.
Right, Nevuah is future.
Yeah.
Nevuah is future. Mazel tov. What does it do to me right now? So we should be.
It would also take away from the moment. If he was with his children, knew everything was going to happen. Like you said in the beginning, he would talk for hours and he would miss the moments that he was having right there at the moment.
It's true.
You were saying what was his machshava, and I was thinking as you were reading the Torah, is that like the Avos, all they had were haftachos of the future. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, their majority of their conversations recorded in the Torah is, I promise you I'll make you a great nation.
Yeah.
It's always future thinking. At the end of his life, you think that would be like the,
Wow.
you know, he said, that haftacha, it means, it's not about, you want to have the haftacha, that's you guys are going to be the ones who are going to bring
Very
it to
good.
life. It's not, this is the hamshach of all the haftacha's in the
Very
in this
good.
moment.
That's chazak.
And it wasn't intentional.
Or was it?
Oh, right. Or what? That's a good shaila. I don't know. Ulai, maybe yes, maybe no. Stay tuned for next year, but I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. I just want to give us a bracha to hold on to this Torah for dear life, and not to freak out when things aren't clear. It's a moment. And I just want to add one more thing. This is very special. It's something I can't believe is happening. In the middle of September 2023, I was invited to come and participate in a day of it's like this a day in the Knesset that's honoring Rav Shlomo and his legacy, and it was scheduled, I think, for October 13th or 20th. I have to look back at my notes. 2023. obviously that, didn't really happen. But you also, I think Pesach sent it out. It's happening this Monday. And in the Knesset, I'll have the privilege of doing exactly this in the Knesset.
Wow.
And there's 400 seats there that are available, and 300 of them were already taken. I think it'd be a gewalt if as many chevra as possible were able to come to the Knesset that day. There's a form, we'll send it out. You fill it out. There's going to be some very, very special people there, including the former chief rabbi, the one who actually gave the hesped to Rav Shlomo at his funeral, Chief Rav Lau, Rav Shlomo's daughter Dari, and some of the truth is, it's so, look how the world turns around. In 1966, Rav Shlomo met a young man and woman named Alex and Miriam Scott in the streets of San Francisco. To make a very long story very, very short, Alex and Miriam Scott were the first people that Rav Shlomo sent to Eretz Yisrael, turned them on like fire. They are today leading figures in the Breslov movement, Rav Eliyahu Sukkot and Miriam Sukkot, with, I don't even want to say how many children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren throughout Eretz Yisrael. Happens to be one of their grandchildren is Tzvi Sukkot from the Knesset, and he's the one that's helping to organize this thing. He's going to be interviewing his grandfather about what his story was, what it was like, Haight-Ashbury, 1966. Can you imagine what this is? In the Knesset, right? And a bunch of our chevra. So I think it'd be a beautiful thing. That's why, unfortunately, I can't give shiur here Monday morning, because we're relocating shiur to the Knesset. I'm really sorry. But whoever wants to come and join, it'd be a big Kiddush Hashem.
Please send the
Right,
form.
Yeah, we'll send it out.